The new Elden Ring patch is out now, and it changes a bunch of stuff. Here's what's new in Elden Ring 1.03. Okay, so first off, the biggest addition. It's a new function that shows where NPCs are on the map. It shows you the icon and name of an NPC of your choice, which is great because it stops you having to go around the entire map looking for them. And let's be honest, NPCs can show up in the weirdest places, so this is a godsend. Next up, we have a new NPC with a new quest. The NPC is a jar man, and his name is Jar Ben. You can find him in a place called Jarburg, which is like the jar equivalent of calling a village Humanburg. Doesn't really make sense. Anyway, do his quest, and at the end of it, he'll reward you with a jar companion. This is a talisman that raises the potency of all throwing pots. So things like, poison pots, fire pots, etc. I don't really use throwing pots myself. I haven't really got into that habit, but I might start doing that thanks to this talisman. Speaking of quests, there are new quest phases for 4 more NPCs. These are Dialos.
Perhaps I am a fool after all.
Nephili.
You. Please. Leave me be.
Kenneth.
I've been waiting for you with bated breath.
And Gatekeeper Gostok.
Now, I suppose I'm free.
So go and chat to these guys for new things to do, if you haven't killed them. Now we're onto some smaller but still pretty cool additions, and one of these is an increase to the number of things you can imitate. That's when you're using the Mimic Veil. I love using the Mimic's Veil. It's one of those things that just adds an extra layer of weirdness to the game. It's mostly meant for hiding from invaders, but for me, I'll just do it when summoning people and seeing if they can work out where I am. It's like a little game of hide and seek. To be honest, I wasn't that hard to find before the patch, as there was only like 3 objects you could turn into. These were the tree, the statue, and the crate. But now there are a few more, so you can blend into the environment just that little bit better. Another small thing you might not notice but is welcome all the same is the extra music. The devs have added some new tracks when you're exploring open field areas at night, so let's have a little listen. Okay, to be honest, I don't know if that music was in the game already or not, but it's definitely music. Alright, those were the quality of life improvements. Now here's what's changed when it comes to combat. Things have been buffed, things have been debuffed, and the biggest thing that's been debuffed, in my opinion, is the Mimic Tier Ash. The patch decreases the damage of your friendly little helper, which is annoying for me because I love that thing and use it literally every time I can. It is not massively underpowered now, but it's just that little bit less useful. I get that it had become a bit of a meme in the way you could just summon it and rely on it to do a good job, but I don't think it was ever really a cheese tactic. And hey, if people who are less good at the game need, a little extra help, there was nothing wrong with using the Mimic Tier. So yeah, in my opinion, this is one change I'm not that keen on. Buff it again, buff it back up, that's why. In other balancing news, there's been a decrease to the Sword of Night and Flame's weapon skill. It does less damage now. I never used the Sword of Night and Flame, so I can't really comment on it, but if you did, give it a go now and let me know in the comments if you notice a difference. If you're wondering where to get the Sword of Night and Flame, by the way, it's in Carrier Manor, which is here. Something else that's been nerfed is the Bloody Slash, which sees you do damage to yourself to damage the enemy. Thanks to the patch, the damage you do to yourself is now increased and the damage you do to enemies is decreased, so the payoff is slightly less good. Added to that, the casting time for Bloody Slash is also a bit longer now, and you get the sense that the devs really had a problem with us using Bloody Slash. Another Ash of War that's been nerfed is the Hoarfrost Stomp Ash of War. Not only is its damage reduced, but its cast time has been increased. So bad news to everyone who liked using the Hoarfrost Stomp. Magic, on the other hand, has been given a lot more love. The patch reduces FP consumption and increases the damage on the Glintstone Comet Shard, Comet, and Night Comet. There's also been an increase in damage for Gravity Whirl, Collapsing Stars, and Crystal Barrage. And also there's decreased FP consumption on loads of sorceries, including Star Shower, Rock Blaster, Founding Rain of Stars, Stars of Ruin, Great Blade Phalanx, Magic Downpour, Loretta's Great Loretta's Great Bow, Loretta's Mastery, just so many sorceries that now take less FP to use, which is great timing because I've literally just used a Larval Tier to change my character into a melee build, so that's good, yeah, cheers for that. Onto consumables now, and they're better thanks to the patch. There's increased damage for all offensive crackpot items, which, when you combine it with the Jar Companion Talisman, makes for a decent argument to using more crackpot items. There's also increased damage for the Spark Aromati and Poison Spray Mist, and increases to the duration of Uplifting Aromatic and Iron Jar Aromatic, which is good news for all you perfumers. Another thing the patch gives us is more smithing stones, so you can upgrade more things. The game has now increased drop rates for smithing stones from some enemies. Now, it's not clear what enemies those are exactly, the devs didn't say, but it's probably safe to assume that some of them are in the well-known smithing cave farming spots. So head to those places where you normally farm your smithing stones for better chances of getting your hands on a smithing stone. Or if you prefer to buy your smithing stones, the game also has now added the stones to shops early on. So if you're thinking of starting New Game Plus, you'll be able to buy smithing stones from shops earlier. Lastly, we'll end on the bug fixes. There are always going to be bugs in a game of this size, but this patch helps to squash some of the bigger ones. And for me, there's been none bigger than the stutters and hang-ups. You'll now see less of them after this patch. They've not been eradicated completely, but the performance does seem to be a bit more stable now. The patch has also fixed a bug which incorrectly displays the multiplayer area boundary when playing online, which I've had occasionally and it's pretty annoying, and also fixes a bug that causes the player to freeze when riding. I haven't freeze before, but I have had my horse disappear, and at one point I had a glitch where I couldn't even call my horse, I just walked around whistling. The patch doesn't mention anything about fixing those, so I'm starting to think it was some kind of elaborate in-game debuff from an NPC I annoy. So those were all the best bits in the new Elden Ring patch. For a complete list of patch notes, check out the link in the description. Thanks for watching, let me know what you think of the patch in the comments, I would love to know what you think, and for more Elden Ring videos, subscribe to the channel.